It's my pleasure, thank you for having me. So my journey with guitar and my interest in music kind of started after watching The School of Rock when I was 5. I watched that movie, and from then on I kind of knew what it was that I wanted to do and that I wanted to learn to play guitar and be a musician. Fast forward a couple of years down the line, after pestering my mum, she decided that, you know, I had kind of like asked enough times to warrant getting a guitar teacher, and so they supported that, and I started having guitar lessons, and it's pretty much history from there onwards.
Hey guys, it's Sophie here. I'm currently on set at the Musicism Studios making a huge beginner's guitar course which we're going to be filming over the next 3 months.
I'm 22 years old and my star sign is Pisces. So I've been playing guitar since I was about 9 years old, so it's creeping up on about 13 years now, so it's been quite a long time. My favourite music genres are very varied. I don't ever try and put them in a box. I'm influenced by a lot of different artists and a lot of different genres. For example, one second I could be listening to Periphery, and the next second I could be listening to Billie Eilish. I'd say my resident genre has always been rock and metal, and it probably always will be, but I'm putting a lot more influence from kind of more modern music these days as well. So there's been a few artists and bands in my life that have definitely had the biggest influence on me, and I always nail it down to these 4. So firstly, Avril Lavigne actually started off my kind of obsession with music, I would say, from a young kind of age. So I idolised Avril when I was a kid. And then I'd say Slash, Mark Tremonti, Miles Kennedy, and probably David Gilmour as well. David Gilmour, subconsciously, I was raised on Pink Floyd, and I think he's actually had a huge impact on me, but Slash, Mark Tremonti and Miles Kennedy have always been the kind of musicians that I've idolised the most. Artist-wise, at the moment, I'm listening to a lot of Pliny, a lot of Periphery, a lot of Billie Eilish, a lot of Paramore as well, I would say. So favourite Periphery song, it's impossible to choose favourite songs, but I've been learning a track called Absalom at the moment, which is a great one, but I really like the track Stranger Things and also Loon by Periphery. Pliny, his entire Handmade Cities album just blew my mind. For Billie Eilish, that's a tricky one. I really like Bellyache. I like all of her tracks as well, to be honest. And then for Paramore, I'm obsessed with the track Monster at the moment and have been for the last few months. Do I play any other instruments? I would say I do. I dabble in a few, so I play bass, but I play it like a guitarist, obviously. I dabble in drums, and I also sing. The singing is something that I'm taking more seriously these days, and I'm actually getting vocal lessons for that. So yeah, I kind of do a few different things.
If I don't belong, who would have guessed it? I will not live alone. Everything that I own to make you like it's not too late. It's never too late. Even if I say it'll be all.
That question leads on to this one. So do I sing or write my own music? And the answer is yes. This is definitely something that's been way more taking up a lot more of my time over the last year. I've been working on writing an EP with a really good friend of mine, and that should be set to start kind of making some moves later on this year. So yeah, like I said earlier, I had a private teacher when I was about 9 years old, until I was about 12, and we used to do half an hour a week. I was also part of a rock school where it was like 45 minutes of learning each week, and then the remaining 15 minutes you would play like in a kind of band scenario with the other students there at the rock school. And then yeah, so after I was like 12, I had the same private guitar teacher, but it was like these 20-minute lessons per week in the middle of school, like at the school. So although I've had lessons, I would actually say that for the most part of my guitar journey, I'd say I was self-taught, so I had teachers to kind of like get me moving, but as far as when the obsession kicked in and I started making some like ridiculous progress, that was when I was self-taught, and it just came from playing a lot, to be honest. So what are my dreams, aspirations and goals? So yeah, definitely to be a self kind of sustaining touring musician and songwriter, and to be doing that as my full-time job, playing some epic shows and being in a band that I love, people that I love working with and love being with, and to just be happy. I live in the south coast of the UK, literally right on the bottom of it, right on the edge of the UK. I've lived here since I was 5. Before that I lived a little bit further inland in a place called Bedfordshire. But no, I've pretty much lived here my whole life, I would say, almost. I am also half German. So I've done a lot of collaborations kind of in the past. It's something that I'm not really focusing on too much now because I don't have as much time to do that. But I've been in bands in the past. I've been in 3 bands in the past, I would say. And when I went to music college, I was playing with different musicians all the time. And now moving forwards, I'm starting up another band, so I'm working with more musicians. So yeah, definitely I've worked with lots of musicians. I definitely see myself playing music as a career. I'm already doing music as a career, but I've got my fingers in a lot of different pies, so I teach a bit, I do the filming thing, I make covers, I make videos for Instagram, I also songwrite. It's kind of, I'm doing it now, but it's not quite, it's kind of smart, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket, but I definitely see music being my career forever, in whatever area I'm in, forever. What do I like best about guitar? The way it makes me feel. It's always been something that I've kind of felt really comfortable with, and whenever I've had a bad day or whatever, I can kind of like confide in it, and just it takes all of the worries away, you know, it takes you off into a different headspace. And how many do I own? Let me see, I've got Custom 24, PRS Tremonti Signature, Hollow Body, Strat, depends, some of them are loaners. I would actually only say I've got 4 to 6 on my own, and then a lot of them are loaners that I do have to give back. So my other interests are kind of like, I'm interested in a lot of things, but I don't do too much aside of music. So I'd say the gym. I'm really interested in fitness and weightlifting in particular, so I do that a lot in my free time. I have a very strong love for animals, and I also have quite an interest in science, space, you know, UFOs, you know, aliens, that kind of thing, and also Wicca. My recent live appearances and travels, so obviously this is limited as we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I haven't actually played live in over a year and a half. It'll be 2 years this July, I think, since I last played a live show, which is crazy. But at the moment I am in the middle of filming a huge guitar course, which involves me travelling away from home and living away from home. So that'll be out shortly, hopefully, with a company called Musicism. So Sophie's beginner guitar course will be out with Musicism soon. I currently have one song out. It's a single called Tranquility. I released it in December of last year, so a few months ago. And that's an instrumental track, and I've started this instrumental project more so as an experiment for me to get better at my songwriting and my guitar playing. So yeah, you can find that everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, literally it is everywhere. Tranquility by Sophie Burrell. What is my take on BABYMETAL? So I've seen things, I've never really properly listened to them. I've only maybe heard one song ever, and that was a long time ago when they first kind of launched. No comment, I guess it's kind of cool, but I don't know enough about it to really say much more than that. Thank you so much for having me on the channel, and thank you so much for supporting Women in Rock. Please be sure to stay tuned on what I'm doing, because I'm going to be releasing lots of new music soon, so I hope to see you along the journey. Thanks again, see you later.